You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams here today for the next week of Man Hour. We have a very special guest on today, as well as it is going to be Torry here with me tonight. Buck and Combs, they're chumps. You already know that. Combs is old. Bucky's old too. But anyways, that we'll get to that in a little bit. But we've got a awesome, and I do mean awesome, show for you today. We've got some NBA talk. We've got some MLB talk. We've got some UFC, which is something we don't really jump into, but we're going to get to all of it and more. I cannot wait to talk with you about it. But first, the man, the myth, the legend at manhour_Torry, the Wisconsinite. What's going on, Torry?
Where am I? Am I not on vacation anymore? Have I
believe
returned
you're back now?
I would say have I returned from Kansas, but I got to go there next month.
What even is in Kansas other than the Buckheisters? What's there?
Tornadoes.
I mean, terrible weather. Patrick Mahomes, the Buckheisters. That's pretty much it.
Well, Mahomes is probably on the misery side. So,
oh, there we go. Yes, of course. My geography is all kinds. Yes, Kansas City, Missouri. I know.
Part of it is
like I didn't say that.
Kansas. No.
We're gonna pretend like I didn't say that. Kansas City is right on the border of Kansas.
Trump geography.
I know. Yeah. But right on the edge of Kansas is Kansas City. But I messed that one up. I normally don't, but I did. I'll own that one. But here with us today, like I said, we've got a very special guest for you guys. You guys normally only get 15 to 30 minutes of baseball talk, but tonight, by God, you're going to get 2 hours of jam-packed Hoffy time. Hoffy, what's going on, bub?
Ginger Nation, what's up?
Ginger Nation. Are you? I thought you were bald, Hoffy. Are you sure you're a ginger?
There's a little bit of red hair there.
I can't decide if he's white Jason Kidd or Jason Williams.
Michael
It's
Jordan.
a wild mix of in between.
Just call him white chocolate.
Absolutely. So, Hoffy, how are we doing today, bub?
Doing all right, boys. Can't complain. How about yourselves?
I'm great. I'm good. Torry?
Another day in paradise, man. I mean, it's like I said, I'm just kind of happy to be back.
Your Brewers in first place. The Bucks are in the finals.
Yeah, this is a good time for Torry. But as you look down at Hoffy's jersey, you see USA on a basketball jersey, and that, I love the jersey, but it's not a hot commodity right now. As we all know what just happened, Team USA, of course, a 30-point, you heard me correct, 30-point favorite to beat Nigeria, ends up losing it 90-87. And one of our very own, Torry, had actually placed a bet on that. I did not know about this, but Torry, go ahead and tell everybody about this bet that you made against your own country. I put a
$10 bet on Nigeria to cover. Which that was a team.
Ended up with like 2,500, right? Oh my God. That's nuts. But still, no.
It was 250 to 1.
How they even lost. I mean, the best player on Nigeria's team is a G League player in the NBA. The Team USA has Kevin Durant, arguably the greatest scorer of all time. Damian Lillard, arguably the most clutch player of all time, one of the best shooters of all time. You've got all kinds of talent from the NBA loaded onto one roster. It's it's a super team. And they come away with a 3-point loss to Nigeria. What? But so the one thing I wanted to really dive deep into this was Coach Popovich, after was being interviewed with Jason Tatum, and Coach Pop said, In a way, he is glad that they lost to Nigeria. And he said it is a good thing if the guys learn from it. So, is this a good thing? I mean, they lost to a team they were favored to beat by 30 points, but granted, it is like a friendly, I guess. In soccer, they have friendlies. It's just an exhibition game, so it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't count against Team USA for anything. But is it really? I mean, I guess it's a nice little wake-up call, but is it really a good thing? Like, is it a good thing to know that Nigeria could beat you? I mean, I think that makes them look more vulnerable. I think teams like Slovenia with Luka Doncic are salivating right now. They've got a shot to win gold right now because Team USA looks vulnerable. They just lost to a team that their best player was on the G League.
Yeah, but this is Slovenia's first time in the Olympics, so I don't think that they're thinking they're going to get gold.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, there again, it's
going to be fun to watch, though.
It was an exhibition game, but there again, like if you look at like the early 2000 basketball teams, the same thing happened. Like they just did not play well. You're playing with a bunch of people that you've never played with before. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that chemistry, and that's why I placed that bet the way I did, because they don't know each other yet. They're not comfortable with each other yet. It's a completely different game. You know, you can have superstars, but doesn't mean you're playing as a team.
They've been together for 4 days. Nigeria's been together for what, 6 months?
Right. Yeah, their leading scorer in that game was the guy that played for the Heat and averaged 4.8 points a game this season.
I mean, kills me. I can't believe they lost, but I will say I kind of see where Coach Pop is coming from, where it can be a good thing. It all depends on how the guys take it. If they learn from this and realize that they're not invincible, I guess I could say, then maybe they could turn this around in some way, because there's no reason why Team USA should not bring home gold in basketball.
They're also missing 4 players.
You know, do what?
Devin Booker. They're also missing 4 players. Devin Booker, etc.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But like Kevin Durant is there, Damian Lillard. There is no excuse to lose to Nigeria, in my opinion. But I do think this could be a big eye opener for them.
Though, so they're all the it factor on their team. So now trying to get those 12 guys to play together is going to be difficult.
Sure.
And that's any team trying to figure out your pecking order.
Absolutely, but I think this could be a good thing. You could learn from this and potentially get ready to, realize you're not invincible. Get ready to go into these games where you're going to face teams with, higher level of talent. Do you guys think this says anything for Nigeria, though? Do you think this shows that Nigeria has a bit of a shot at doing something special, maybe placing on the podium or getting some kind of a medal?
I don't think so. I mean,
so you just think it was a fluke game?
It's like I said. I think you played a team that hasn't played together, that's finding their footing. That's literally what it is. Like I don't expect anybody, and there again, I don't care who you are, to come out and be able to play
50%. The
right.
whole tournament either, and from 3-point like they did against USA.
Absolutely. So are you guys worried all about this, or is it just kind of par for the course, just getting the team worked out? That's why they have these exhibitions to get everybody ready and all that stuff. Or do you guys see anything with this?
I don't see anything with it. Like I said, it's an exhibition. They're kind of like, meh. They probably played at half speed. They were like, trying to just get a feel for each other, trying to not get hurt. For some of these guys, they just got done with their season, stuff like that. So I'm not worried about it at all. The best laid battle plan goes right out the window as soon as the first bullet flies. So it's like I said, I don't even think they made a battle plan for this one. But once it's for real, you're going to see a completely different Team USA team.
Mm-hmm. And Buck, we have here in the comments, Buck says, shows they are a first round exit in the Olympics is, I guess, what he's talking about here. I don't think so. I think Buck is speaking from the Lamar is trash section of his mind. But anyways, as well as we have Corey Kinsley here saying go Bills, go Pack go is what I say to that. Chuck Thomas says, yeah, ex-hin it to jujit.
Like that.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Correct. Okay. Exhibition LOL. That's why I spelled it the way I did first time. Nobody cares. Yes, exhibition, absolutely. It does not matter. But anyways, we're going to get to our first break. We have got all kinds, and I do mean all kinds of great stuff coming up. We've got Home Run Derby coming up right after the break. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about a little Acuna, some UFC, a little bit of NBA after that, and wrap it all up with some shop talk at the end. So be sure to get those questions ready at 9:45. Type them in. We will answer whatever question you have for us that is sports related, of course. I cannot tell you the birds and the bees things. My mom still has not had that talk with me. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to our first break. We will see you back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Man Hour. Be sure to join our members only tab, $9.99 per month, as well as we've got a couple other little things, $2.99 be a part of the fantasy football, all kinds of great deals there for you to find out all kinds of cool behind the scenes, awesome information for everything related to sports. But as we jump back into it, you see it there, the Wisconsinite himself, Mr. Torry Anderson, and Hoffy, the baseball lackey, as we call him. But we're going to talk a little baseball here for a second. Set for tomorrow night, Monday night, that is. The home run derby is set, and the lineup looks just like this. At 1 is Shohei Ohtani, leading home runs. That explains it all for himself. He will first number 8, Juan Soto, to get it all kicked off. Number 2 will be Joey Gallo versus Trevor Story. He's number 7. Number 3 is new Matt Olson. Number 6, Trey Mancini. Salvi Perez comes in at 4. That is Bucks boy. And at number 5, Pete Alonso for the Mets. So, guys, my question to you now that we've talked about the lineup for the home run derby, who takes this thing home?
Lackey, you're the guest, so you get to go first on this one.
So I think kind of everyone's obvious choice is Ohtani, but seeing that he hasn't taken baseball practice all year, I think it might be. You laugh at me, but I think it's going to, that first.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at how crazy that is that he is leading the league in home runs and has not taken a single pitch in BP.
I think that's going to affect him during this home run derby, though, because, he's not facing pus before. So he's going to be out in front of it. It's going to take him a round or two before he catches on. So I think it's going to end up being either Gallo or a repeat for the gentleman, Mr. Alonso, out of the Mets. That's who I think is really going to win it, is Alonso.
And Torry?
I really want the storybook, and I want Trey Mancini to win it. That would be
awesome.
like the ultimate storybook. He's like a 1,200 to 1 right now. He's plus 1,200 to win it. So like he has the worst odds of anybody to win it. I think I'm going to somewhat agree with Hoffy here. I think Ohtani goes out in the first round. I think Juan Soto upsets him. There's a lot of people like that's a tougher matchup than people realize, and I think we're gonna have a little bit of an upset there. I think, and I think Juan Soto. I'm gonna go with Juan Soto. I'm gonna go in the finals. I believe it will be Soto versus Alonso, and I think Soto takes it.
Can it be that way though?
I thought it could.
I don't know how. I don't know if it goes by the highest seeds or whatnot. But if they're both on the left side of the bracket, so technically
I think it goes by seed. So when he's the
8.
It
should, yeah.
Right.
I think it should be like how a standard bracket is 1-8, 2 7s at the bottom, and then of course 4 5 and 3 6 will be in the middle. That would be my best guess. I think
after
3
that round. So
3 6
if the 8 wins, like he would play like say who's number 2 is because Alonso's 4.
Alonso's number.
Alonso's 5.
Alonso 2.
Alonso's 5. Number 2 is Joey Gallo.
Yeah. So like say
it's Ohtani 1, Gallo 2, Olsen 3, Salvi Perez is 4, Pete Alonso 5, Mancini 6, Trevor Story 7, and Juan Soto is 8. That's their lineup. So the 4-5 will play 1. So the winner of Ohtani and Soto will play Perez and Alonso, and the winner of Gallo and Story will play the winner of Olsen and Mancini, and then
I thought they went by seed though. Like I thought it would just go highest versus lowest seed. I didn't think they
it'll
did
end up being
tournament.
2, 3, 5, and 8 that'll be left in the final 4. So that'll be the upset Alonso.
Okay, here. So what we'll do is I'll just have you guys break down each one here. So for the first one here, Hoffy, we'll start with you. We've got number 1, Shohei Ohtani, of course, leads the league in home runs, but a very interesting storyline, has not taken a single swing of BP all year, which is crazy to me. I find that wild. And he will face Juan Soto of the Nationals. So, Hoffy, who do you have winning that matchup?
I'm going to agree with Torry. I think that's going to be an upset with Soto.
Okay, and then Torry said he's got Soto. So next we'll move to the 2-7. The 2-7 is Joey Gallo of the Rangers and Trevor Story of the Rockies. That's the 2-7 matchup, of course. And Hoffy, who do you have there?
I got Gallo.
Yeah, you got to give me Gallo. As much as like people are going to be cheering for Trevor Story for being the home run, for being the hometown guy and to win, Joey Gallo can't hit anything but a fastball, and that's all he's going to see. So the kid's got a ton of power. So I think Gallo takes that one from Trevor Story as well.
All right, and then our 3-6 is going to be Matt Olson from the A's and Trey Mancini, of course, of the Orioles. And Torry, we'll start out with you for the back two. Torry, who do you have in that one?
I'm taking Mancini. Give me Mancini. I am rooting hard for Mancini in this one. Just like I said, because that would just be a phenomenal story for him to make it. So I'm going to take Trey Mancini just because as being a fellow cancer survivor, I got to go for my other guy.
Awesome.
I don't think Cinderella stories in baseball will mix very well tomorrow. So, or in the home run derby. So no, I think this is not going to be Mancini's night, unfortunately.
And then for our 4-5 matchup, of course, we've got Perez and we've got Alonso. Perez is 4, Alonso is 5.
Yeah, give me Pete Alonso all day long in that one. I mean, Salvi Perez is the most overrated catcher in all of baseball. He's not that great. I'm just kidding. I'm literally just saying this just to make Buck pull his hair out if he had any hair. So,
pulling his beard out.
I think if with those two, give me Pete Alonso just because he's the defending champion. He's starting to find his swing now, which there again, we're going into the All-Star break, and a lot of times these guys will jack their swing up for about 2 weeks coming out of the home run derby because they just start swinging at everything.
I think that's why Vlad isn't doing it.
Right. Yeah, I could be just because like it is because all you're doing is just getting meatballs served up to you, just trying to swing as hard as you can. And it's been proven that like these guys that do this, it's about 2 weeks that their swing is all screwed up before they start finding it again. Pete Alonso was just starting to find his swing again. I think he's going to just kind of stay even keeled. It's like I said, he's been there before. He's done it. Salvi Perez has not. I think Pete Alonso wins that round.
And then Hoffy, who do you have? 4 Perez and 5 Alonso.
Alonso.
All right, so you guys agree on everything. Both of you guys have Soto, both of you guys have Gallo, and both of you guys have Alonso, but you guys split. One has Olsen and one has Mancini, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Nice. Okay. So with that being said, who do you guys have winning it then from then on? So Hoffy, of the 4 you have left, you have
I think it'll be
Soto,
Gallo versus Alonso, and I think Alonso will win it.
Okay, and then Torry?
I got to take Alonso. Alonso's going to go into the finals. And wait, I just lost you there. Wyatt, what'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Who do you got?
Who do I got left here? I got Alonso. I'm going to take Alonso. And you
got Mancini, Alonso, you've got Soto, and you've got Gallo.
Yeah, and then I'm going to have to take Soto.
All right. And that is how we end that one. So we've got the home run derby underway, but also some other big news in baseball is going to be Ronald Acuna is out for the season with an ACL tear whenever they were playing the Marlins. He attempts the diving catch, goes down with a knee injury. Nasty thing. We all hate seeing it. ACL is such a big thing now. But, he finishes the season, with 297 at-bats, 84 hits, 24 home runs, and a batting average of 283. So my big question here, of course, it's going to affect the Braves, but how big is the effect? Hoffy, we'll start with you. How big does the departure of Acuna hurt the Braves?
I mean, Acuna, Tatis, I mean, they're all part of that young core that's supposed to, kind of to bring the fans back into baseball and such. And, I think it's going to be disappointing. Unfortunately, the Braves have been a little bit of a disappointment this year. So, it would be a lot more, tragic, a lot more of a significant event if they were in first place or something like that, similar to last year. But they're not really going anywhere this year. But it's still not a good thing for the game of baseball.
Torry?
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to see, and what kind of makes it even a little bit worse is it's a complete tear. He had a complete tear of his ACL, so his rehab's actually going to probably end up being a little bit longer. So, like when I did mine, it was a partial tear, and when they went in there, they said, it's partially torn, and it's so stretched out that your ACL looks like a piece of Laffy Taffy. Like literally, there wasn't a whole lot there holding your thing or your knee together. So they kind of took that out. They went in. They put they cut out the muscle in the front of my knee instead of using the cadaver, just because it would be stronger. And I'm guessing they're going to do the same thing with Acuna, and it's going to be a little bit tougher road back. However, I think by the beginning of next year, he should be good to go by the beginning of next year. But it's a terrible thing for baseball. This was a team that was probably going to be a buyer, most likely at the deadline. And now they've kind of they're not going to be a buyer or something. They're just going to stand pat. Because at this point, they're like, we're just going to have to play out the season and play for next year.
Do you think that they will make any moves to try and fill that void by any chance? I mean, of course, you're not going to place Acuna. There's nobody you can pick up off free agency, and there's no big trade you can make to get somebody to completely fill that void. But do you think they make any moves to try and fix the hole? And if so, who is it? Torry, you first.
I don't think that they make any moves. It's like I said. I think at this point they just stand pat, play with what they got, see what they have. They've got plenty of talent already still on that team. It's just not going to be like the Braves team that we were expecting this year. And I don't think they do anything. It's going to be put whoever in there, next man up kind of mentality for it. And they're gonna go on. They're gonna be like, this season's almost kind of lost already. Let's just wait for next year.
Hoffy?
Yeah, I agree with him. If anything, I can't think of his name, but the gentleman in left field that they re-signed this year, maybe they end up, shipping him off and getting a couple small pieces that can come in and help Acuna when he comes back. But I don't see them being buyers.
No.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys 100%. I think it's a horrible thing. And, when you mention that it's, these are the guys who are bringing back baseball, I absolutely think that's true. I think that guys like Acuna, I think guys like Fernando Tatis, Shohei Ohtani are bringing a lot of people back to the sport of baseball, making, I'm not saying that it isn't exciting. I'm just saying a lot of people don't find baseball exciting at times. And I think that these guys are making it that again. Do what?
They're bringing the flair back.
Yes, yeah. No, when you see Acuna reaching over the wall to make the crazy catches and, diving catches out in the outfield, and you see Tatis, literally, I have no clue how he had time to react to that crazy play he had about a week or two ago, where the ball comes off the bat and he just jumps straight up and gets a hold of it. I mean, I have no clue how he does that, but he does it. And then you've got a guy like Shohei Ohtani, who is a pitcher, but also, can play in the outfield and plays DH as well, and right now leads the league in home runs and has like the fastest pitch. These are the guys that are bringing it back. And you really hate to see a guy go out like that. And you hate it for the Braves too, because any hopes they had of being a playoff contender or being a deep playoff contender kind of cease with this. I don't want to say that they're not going to be able to hold it down or anything, but at the same time, this is a huge loss. I mean, this is a huge loss offensively and defensively for the Braves.
Absolutely. Any team, you lose your superstar player on any team for any amount of time, it's a huge loss no matter what. So, I mean, you could literally say that for almost any team. It's like I said, the good thing for them is they do have plenty of talent elsewhere on that team, but they're still going to suffer a little bit. It's not like it's going to be like, oh my God, they're going to go to, in the tank and be the last place team, They're still going to be a middle of the pack team, probably a little bit above 500, because they do have a decent pitching staff and they do have a good lineup. But there again, it always hurts that losing that superstar. That's probably going to cost them probably 6, 7, 8 wins at least during the season now. And I just really don't see them just completely falling off like that. Just because, most teams would love Freddie Freeman on any other team would probably be the best player. And because of who they have there, Freddie Freeman, obviously with Acuna down, is now probably back to being the best player on the team. But he's the number one player on any other team just about in Major League Baseball.
So, Hoffy, do you think that Freeman holds it down and keeps them in the playoffs?
I mean, they're 4.5 games out already. So no, I think the Mets are starting to somewhat get healthy and find their groove. So no, I don't think that they make a playoff run, but I do expect them to, like Torry said, be a little bit above 500. Finish 8, 9 games out of first place, and maybe even 5 or so out of the wild card position.
Absolutely. So that is how we're going to end our sports headlines break real quick. We will jump into a 2-minute break. When we come back, UFC 264. Hoffy, I know you're a big McGregor guy. I am as well. It wasn't a good night last night, man, but we will dive deep into that when we come back in 2 minutes. Heartbreak, man. I hate it. And what is up, Man Hour Nation? It is at manhour_TWW. That is the Wyatt Williams, as well as the Wisconsinite himself up in the top right corner. You see him there. That is manhour_Torry. And right below us, our special guest of the night, possibly of the week, Torry. Hoffy, are you joining us for the rest of the week?
News to me.
Let us know if you can, man. We'd love to have you on. We've had a great show so far, but Hoffy, I'm ready to wipe the smile off your face, man, because it wiped the smile off mine last night. UFC 264. So first, we'll discuss some of the pre-fights. That's what we'll do before we dive deep into this. We'll discuss some of the pre-fights before we talk about, of course, what happened with the main event. But first off, John O'Malley. Okay. What is it with this guy? Okay. He looks like I mean this in the kindest way when I say this. This is not kind. He looks like a crackhead, but he's like the baddest dude ever. Like, seriously. The guy lands 80% of his punches last night. Chris, he didn't even protect himself. He was doing nothing. At the end of it, his face was all busted up. The ref called it, and the Chris guy was all mad about it. I'm like, you can't be mad. He just saved you from going to sleep. Toffee, what did you see out of that first fight with O'Malley?
I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but O'Malley posted before he even walked out, this knockout's for the Suns. Then he comes out, starts dribbling between his legs and just hitting the guy with the whole
in the middle of the fight, he's like just dribbling between his legs. This guy is awesome.
With the kitchen sink. I mean, but yeah, the dude was an absolute zombie. I mean, like Joe Rogan said, what do you look up at the clock like 5 times? Like, what do I got to do to get this guy out of here? But yeah,
right.
I think Herb Dean could have probably stopped that in the first round if he really wanted to. But yeah, I had no problem with that stoppage because I really do think that the next one or the next 2 or 3 were about to put him down for good.
Well, I looked before the fight, and O'Malley was a minus 1,000 favorite in that fight. He was a minus 1,000 favorite. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. So even Vegas thought that was going to be a blowout, and clearly it was. I mean, I'm going to say that Motini landed what? 10 punches.
70 shots.
How many?
218. 70 out of 218 compared to O'Malley's 230 out of 318. Here, O'Malley's significant strikes. Okay, so his total strikes were 230 out of 318. His significant strikes were 230 out of 318. So every shot he threw was a significant power punch.
It's like the guy he just had it. Chris had his hands up like this.
177 shots to the head.
Oh my God. Chris had his hands up like this, and just O'Malley was continuing to just punch right in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. It's like, dude, protect yourself. Like, put your hands in more. Like, and when the worst thing was when he would throw punches. I have a friend who's in the MMA, and the way he talks about it is when you throw a punch, you want to keep your chin under your arm so they can't come around and counter it. He's just throwing wide open punches like this and just allowing him to clock him from the side. It was hilarious but terrible all at the same time. I think that, in my opinion, was the best fight of the night. Because it was
fight of the night. And then in between rounds, he's telling he's giving Sean O'Malley's, the Degeneration X, thing, telling him to, shove it.
I'm like, I don't even know why he was talking. There were several times where, like, I was sitting in the room with, my girlfriend's family, and I was like, what is he talking? What does he have to say right now? He has been pummeled for 3 straight rounds. What do you have to trash talk about? I mean, the guy landed 80% of his...
like a bitch. That's what he was telling him.
I don't even know how you can say that. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that first fight was wild, and I mean, I don't know how they didn't call that fight a little earlier, but nonetheless, I enjoyed 3 rounds of it. It was a lot of fun. So, Hoffy, where do you think O'Malley goes from here? Do you think that he gets, a higher, maybe a co-main event fight now?
I mean, I do like his little call out where, he said, obviously he knows he's not getting, the top guys, Peter Yan, Sterling, they're fighting for the title. Sure. Garbrandt is moving down, like he said, but I do like the Rob Font call out. And Rob Font is a Massachusetts guy and trains at the same gym as this gentleman, that just got his head kicked in last night. So maybe maybe he comes back and gets it back for his teammate.
It was wild. It was a lot of fun to watch that first fight. But, I think possibly, I agree with you, Fawn. And then a co-main event would be cool to see. I agree with you. I don't think he's going to jump right into a title fight. That's just not going to happen. You got to fight a little more before you get. Yeah, you got to fight a little more before you get to that point. But moving on now to the next fight, 2 females in the bantamweight, if I'm correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Irene Aldana absolutely just dominated. It was 2 dominating fights right off to the start, but this one, of course, ends in the first. It was a great one as well. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, the blonde girl Kanitska or whatever her name was came out, guns a-blazing to start, and yeah, she weathered the storm, and then just kind of picked her apart on the counter, the counter punches and such, and yeah, I thought it was a great fight for her. Absolutely,
that one was super entertaining as well, and third fight. Really good as well. Tai Tuivasa, and here's what I put in my notes because I feel very genuinely about this one, and I know Combs, feels very, very big about this one as well. If you have an issue with if you are a man and you have an issue with hitting women, I don't think there's a place in sports for you at all. And Hardy, of course, fought Tuivasa, and we all saw what happened, and it was essentially cool. My friend texted me, and it was a true text because we got to see a guy who is has done a lot of bad stuff kind of get his payback essentially. I mean, he came out firing on all cylinders. He was looking for that knockout punch. He stumbles forward and
then he tried to get that finish, and that's when he So he
laid one good one on him.
Knocked out, yeah.
So Hardy got his comeuppance then on Saturday night, I'm guessing.
Right, exactly. It's just
cold.
Yeah, first off, I don't think that there's a spot. Like I said, I don't think there's a spot in sports for people like that, as is. But to get to see that, it was kind of fun to watch. I mean, I was watching, and I was like, I'm fine with that ending, because you're right. He had Tuivasa. He had him stumbling back. He had him hurt a little bit.
Tuivasa even got a couple extra shots. I mean, he was already out, and Tuivasa still got to wind up, come down with the hammer, and still throw another 5 extra.
Right. But he got too aggressive, got a little too greedy, stepped inside, looked for the knockout punch, missed, and when he did, his face was just wide open, and Tuivasa just gave him one good one right to the temple, knocked him out. That was game over. When I saw him stumble and fall down, I was like, "Yep, that's it. He's out." And they called it right after that. So that ended that one. But still, all 3 really good fights lead up to that point. I gotta ask you, the co-main event fight. That's got to be the worst fight you've ever seen, right?
Certainly not the worst, but I mean, I kind of expected that. I mean, that's if you're gonna beat Wonderboy Thompson, that's how you got to do it. It's got to be a boring fight. You got to pick your shots, and get him to the ground, and just kind of, that's really the only way you're gonna beat him. And I think he took a book right out of the former champ and Tyron Woodley, and just making him lead the dance and just counterpunching Wonderboy Thompson, and when you see that, it is going to be a boring fight. So I wasn't surprised.
Absolutely. Well, the whole place was booing them back and forth. I put on Twitter last night. I've had better fights with my brothers than that.
I agree.
It was terrible. It was like the whole 4 minutes and 50 seconds leading up to the very end, nothing. They're just like leaning on each other. There was a couple of jabs here and there, but those last 10 seconds, they went crazy on each other. There was one, I think it was in the second round at the very end. There was 10 seconds left, and it was just both of them. Neither of them were protecting their face. They were just bam, 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 over and over again, both of them. Like I said, neither of them protecting their face, both of them just taking shots and giving shots over and over and over again. It was hilarious to watch.
And then Wonderboy smiling the whole time, like loving life.
Right. And then they hugged each other after, and I was like, come on, man. You guys can't just you can't have a boring fight. And then the whole place boos the guy, and he starts like going like this, telling him to boo more. I thought that was funny too. But all right, Hoffy. We've built up now. We've talked about the 4 fights before. Now we got to talk about that main event. I don't want to talk about it, but of course we have to. Poirier McGregor 3. Conor wins the first one. Poirier wins the second one. Dustin the Diamond, the notorious Conor McGregor, go to clash for what seems to be the end of the trilogy. This is the end, the trilogy ending. And we go one round in, and Conor McGregor has a really weird fall, and I don't know how you took it. Everybody saw it differently. I just saw him fall down. I thought he tripped. On the mat and stumbled back. And my girlfriend's brother, Bryce, says, hey, he twisted his ankle. I think something's wrong. And I'm like, what? So I didn't see that. They do the replay. And it's, God.
From the beginning.
Like, you saw it?
Oh, I mean, I saw the ankle from the start, and I just immediately went, ooh. But yeah, I mean, they both threw punches, they both missed, and he stepped back, and that's when it went. But yeah, it was quite nasty. And Dustin said that I checked a leg kick. He didn't check any leg kicks. Conor McGregor landed all 9 of his leg kicks. I think it just was a fluke. Fluke incident. I mean, maybe you chalk it up to 6 months ago when they fought in Abu Dhabi, and that leg that's the leg that took a pounding in that Abu Dhabi fight.
Right.
So
that's what I was thinking. That thing was glowing red after their second fight. Mm-hmm. It was. It's the reason why Conor lost.
But yeah. And I mean, Conor kind of hurt himself in the fact that he was dominating the start of the fight, the first 2 minutes. I think he landed 43 out of 54 strikes. He was winning, going for that guillotine. I don't know. I said to myself right away, you're not getting that. I don't know why you went for that. He should have just kind of shucked him off and then reset, etc. So yeah, he lost that first round because he got controlled for the 3 minutes. But I by no means call. If I'm Dustin Poirier, I'm not calling that a win by any means.
Right.
So I think they got to run it back, but.
Wasn't McGregor like running his motorboat on his way out? He was on a stretcher running his motorboat like this ain't over.
He was. Oh yeah, he was sitting down, apparently giving him the the
he was
symbol.
Yeah.
So
he was. He apparently said that something along the line. I don't know exactly what he said. I'm sure there was some foul language in it too. He said something along the lines of "I'm gonna kill you" or something, and put made a gun with his hand and put it to his head or something. But. And Dustin apparently took that to heart now and wants another fight, which I could kind of see.
I understand it.
They say 90% of athletic injuries are caused by a different event. I don't think that it was necessarily Dustin checked one. I think he had a rib shot. If you watch one of the first kicks right out the gate, he caught him in the ribs, and you could see Conor kind of wince a little bit when he kicked him. I think that the Poirier McGregor 2, I think that was a big part of it, but also I think that fight was kind of what cracked it a little bit. And then because it's so weird because I don't want to think that like McGregor's legs were just not strong enough to withhold him tripping like that.
I'm sure that's all he, with having to check those kicks, I feel like that was probably a big part of his camp was getting those legs, strength and condition, knowing that he was going to be facing those kicks. And yet he actually controlled the kick game, so yeah, I do think, like you said.
I will say that I don't think, even if he wouldn't have broke his leg, let's say in a different world where he doesn't break his leg, I still think Dustin wins that because I think Dustin did such a good job of staying on top of McGregor through that. I agree with you 100% where you said that he should have never went for the guillotine because he wasn't going to get it. Dustin's a better ground and pound guy than Conor is, where Conor's better with his legs. So he should have never went for the guillotine. I thought he had it, but he lost it. And then at that point, Dustin is they're the same weight, but Dustin is very top heavy. All of his weight is up here in his chest and in the upper part of his body. So he just laid on top of Conor and tired him out and gave him a couple elbows, punched him a bunch. So I don't think that Conor was going to win it. I'm honestly just really hoping that this isn't the end of McGregor, that McGregor doesn't end on a broken leg. I don't think he will. I think this does set up a fourth fight because even after the fight, Poirier said, I don't care if it's in the octagon. I don't care if it's in the street. We're fighting again. We're settling this. This will be the end. And if McGregor wins, well, here's the and if McGregor's going to fight again, Dana White's absolutely going to be all for it because that gets everybody a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
but
he came out and said it, and
oh yeah,
I love Conor McGregor, but I'm really gonna be upset if Poirier beats, wins the title against the, shoot, I can't even think of his name.
I can't pronounce it.
If he beats Charles Oliveira, and then they set up Conor McGregor versus Poirier, then we have issues because I love McGregor, but he does not deserve a title fight by any means, even if it's to settle the score with Poirier.
See, I think that that's the whole point of this because so Oliveira, I think Dustin will beat him. Dustin gets the belt. Then McGregor versus Poirier 4. I think McGregor wins that one, and then it's a title fight again for 5. Then they fight again for the title a second
Gaethje
time.
Deserves a shot at that title first.
Do what? Say it again,
McGregor's
Buff?
lost, but McGregor's lost 3 out of his last 4 fights now. It's the first time in his career he's ever lost back-to-back fights. So, like, I'm not even a UFC guy, and I know that stuff. So, like, yeah, like you can't put him in a title fight until he climbs back up the ranks. Right now, he's not, and he's not. To me, he's not the same fighter he was 2 years ago.
The gentleman, was it Mr. Thomas that just posted that comment down in the corner?
Yeah.
I agree with him. I mean, when you're waking up in $1 million silk sheets, how can you really train for, UFC fights are a lot more grueling than I think boxing. So I think he needs to just, the Jake Paul fights, Manny Pacquiao, I think he needs to just set up these celebrities. He's a great boxer. I mean, he competed with Floyd. Much better than the other Paul brother did. So I think he just needs to stick to. Yeah, I think he needs to stick to boxing.
That was terrible.
And just kind of go with those money fights because I think, again, he's a great UFC fighter, but he's training when he wants. These other UFC fighters want what he has. They're training all day. I mean,
right.
I don't think he can beat Poirier because I think Poirier's got heart. I love McGregor. He doesn't have that.
It definitely seems like he's off compared to what he's been in his career. It doesn't seem, he's of course still got the swagger. We always see that in Conor McGregor, but it seems like not the confidence, but maybe the passion, I guess I would say is kind of out of it a little bit for him. He doesn't seem like he's as passionate for mixed martial arts as he once was, or earlier in his career he didn't have all the money, when he didn't have all the fame. He essentially, I like to look at Conor McGregor as like Steph Curry kind of not made the game what it is, but at the same time kind of did make the game what it is now. I think that McGregor is a lot like that. So
brought it to a new level.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of revamped it a little bit. So I don't see the same passion that I used to see in him. You know what I mean? I don't see the same drive.
Yeah, but his trash talk this week was lame. Just kind of Jolie, Dustin Poirier, P-head. Whereas before he was going into your history. He was he was going to dark places, and yeah, I think now it's all fun and money for him, and he hopes that he sparks someone with his left hand, and that's his hope.
Right.
Yeah, but
Torry, what were you saying,
is, like you're talking about, about moving the sport forward. Like your St. Pierre's did, like your Tank Abbott's did. Matt, what the hell was Matt's last name? Hughes. When the sport was just starting to come about, and they were getting this to where it was, like when there was no basically MMA, like, oh, we got a boxer versus a wrestler. Like it was a lot more primitive then. But there again, like you said, now guys train. Guys started saying, well, okay, I got to be prepared for everything. If it's a boxer, a wrestler, like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. They started cross-training and everything and evolved it into what it is today, which is MMA. And, you've had the people now that keep setting that bar a little bit higher. And McGregor still is one of those people that push that bar a little bit higher. He advanced the sport, and nobody stays on top forever. I don't care who you are, except for maybe Tom Brady, allegedly. So
Khabib, that's it.
even Khabib, though. Khabib's first 20 fights were nobody. He really, yes, right. He's Khabib. Yes, he probably would still go undefeated now, but he was set up with some cupcakes for sure. Right. Much like boxing records, that's I look at Khabib's record the same way.
Wait, are you telling me that Floyd Mayweather had an easy route to 50-0?
Oh, 100%.
I'm just messing with you,
maybe
buddy.
10 real fights? Same with Khabib.
Right.
Yeah, you're 30-0, but
and how many times did he shrug off Pacquiao before he finally fought him when Pacquiao was an old man? You know what I mean?
Torn rotator and
exactly.
And such. I mean,
and then hugged him the entire boxing match. That was horrible. That was probably the worst boxing match I've ever seen.
That was the worst boxing match. Yeah, that was. I mean, what was it? Tyson and Peter McNally fight was a better fight than that one.
But no, I mean, I am just really hoping that this isn't the end of the McGregor era.
I think he can come back and you can get a trilogy with him and Diaz. I think he can easily win that one. So I think you're going to have to set him up for fights like those. And if he beats Diaz, maybe Nick Diaz's brother steps in and tries to get one back for his brother. But I think it's going to have to be just these guys that are popularity fights that were good back in the day, but they're kind of they're on their way out of their prime.
So okay, how about this? Nate Diaz. So when McGregor gets healthy, say he fights Diaz. Oliveira fights Dustin. Dustin beats Oliveira. McGregor beats Diaz. Do you think then, because I know earlier you didn't say at that point he wouldn't deserve a title fight. Do you think then he'll deserve a title fight?
Get a crack at Poirier, and if Gaethje gets a crack and Poirier wins that, then yes, sure, go ahead. But I think Gaethje deserves a crack before McGregor, no matter if McGregor goes on a 2-fight win streak, etc. Because Gaethje should be in there right now. With Oliveira or Poirier. So those three right now have to settle it before Gregor.
Do you think Gaethje will get his shot, or do you think they choose the money with McGregor first?
I think Gaethje will end up getting his shot because, that's a rematch. That's a big fight too. I think if it wasn't someone like Gaethje, but I think Gaethje's enough of a draw where they can, put McGregor. You're always going to have McGregor, so you can sit McGregor and go with the Gaethje, and then you have, because Gaethje would have no problem shut McGregor up too. He had a huge issue when he punched the old man, etc. So called him a shitty father. So I mean, there's a score to settle there too. So
they get so deep, man. They get so deep in these fights. Mm-hmm. When Dustin, when Conor first fell down and it broke his leg, Dustin was saying all this stuff about how he checked the leg and all this stuff, and you could tell Conor was getting so mad. I was praying right then. Please, please, Joe Rogan, go over there and sit next to Conor and interview him. Give him the mic. Please, I want to hear what he has to say. And what does he say when he gives him the mic? He turns right to Dustin and says, "Your wife is in my DMs." Oh my God! I mean,
and he showed a video of
crazy.
It too. There's like a boom, 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 like him going right to it and like not going into the actual message.
Wait, she actually? I thought he was just saying that she actually was in his DMs.
He's gotten to the point where he's like pulled up his messages and there's like a message request from like Jolie Poirier. Like it's doesn't show what it says. If it's a picture, I don't know. But there 100% was a message sent. Maybe it's a fake account, but he showed a Jolie Poirier message request. Maybe it was her saying, thank you for the donation, but
that is crazy. I thought he was just saying that to get in his head. She genuinely, or maybe it was a fake account, but there was something. I don't know.
I'll find the video. It's McGregor like going into his phone and like it just zoomed in on the phone of exactly him just boom boom going right to the message.
Oh my gosh, that is wild. Well, boys, I do want to say I've got some awful weather at my house. The TV just went out, so if we lose power, Mr. Torry, sir, you're in charge of the show. Just so
and that's when we go downhill, folks.
Right. That's where the SH show begins.
It'll be me and Hoppy singing "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
Right.
Welcome to karaoke.
Chuck Thomas here has commented quite a bit. There's a couple of these I can't show on screen because of the language, but they are funny, Chuck. I will give you that one. He says here, Conor was throwing those leg kicks, but Dustin heard snap and pointed at him when he did. See, I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's the part where Conor kind of winced a little bit when he kicked, and maybe it snapped something. And he kind of jumped on board here where he says Jake Paul versus Conor in a year, money thing. I could absolutely see that. At this point, viewership is all that matters. It has nothing to do with how good of a fighter you are. We've seen that with Jake Paul. But moving on, he agrees here. He says Oliveira versus Dustin. It's going to be epic. Absolutely. He says McGregor is done. And then he also says McGregor is like Nate Diaz. Conor versus Nate Diaz is his moneymaker. And he says Charles will beat Dustin as well as Khabib versus Charles next year. Do you think Khabib comes out of retirement, Hoffy?
No, and I don't think that I think Poirier beats Oliveira as well. So
I do too. I think
Khabib retired undefeated, correct?
Correct.
Yes, 22-0.
29-0.
Oh, he's 29-0?
Father's plan was always 30-0, but mom doesn't want him fighting without father. But mom has to allow him to come back before he comes back. But I mean, Khabib's he's been coaching. I mean, he's undefeated as a coach. I don't know if you've seen him. I mean, I don't know if he can make 155 at this point. He's living the retired life. He's starting
Yeah, that's what Connor was saying too, that he couldn't make weight. I saw that he had said something like that. But it was a wild night last night. The one that I wanted to talk about too, real quick, before we go to break and before we move on from UFC, this Tuivasa guy, he's another level of insane. Like, he comes into If You Want to Be My Lover, he wins his fight on a knockout, and then proceeds to drink beer out of random people in the crowd's shoes.
Did you see the black boot? And he was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yes. Then as he's walking out, somebody starts pouring beer from the top row down in his mouth. And was like, what is happening here? Right. So here's my final question for you before we go to break. Torry, I'll start with you. How much money to drink a beer, and I mean chug a beer, out of some random person you do not know their shoe? How much to do it?
I mean, I don't know. There's some nice Nike Air Force Ones he was drinking out of last night.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably
a bedazzled one.
He's got some Louis Vuittons that he's probably drinking beer out of.
Some Gucci.
For me, because that's just disgusting and gross.
It's horrible.
It's going to be about $12 to $13 million for me to do it. I'm not doing. If I'm doing that, I'm never having to work again.
$1 million. No less than $1 million. I'm not drinking out of anybody's shoe for anything less than that. That's crazy. And Hoffy, how much for you, man?
I mean, chances are this is gonna go on all the Twitter accounts and such. I mean, maybe I blow up, I get some money out of it. So I mean, probably wouldn't take much. Depends on how drunk I am to start.
That's terrible. Chuck Thomas says, "Give me 500." I guess Hoffy's right on board with you. And he says here, this was the crazy part. He said, "Drank beer in my shoe." The guy at when he said, "What was that?" The guy did you see him? He put hot sauce.
I thought I heard something about there was hot sauce in it.
Yeah, he took like a bottle. I don't know. It looked like it was sriracha to me, but it was some form of a hot sauce, and he put it in the shoe with the beer, and then he drank it. And that's when he went, "What was that?" And he went like that because his mouth was on fire.
Grabbed another beer
and then grabbed another one and just proceeded to chug it. First off, how are these guys? Does Dana White allow these guys to do that? I mean, there's no way. He probably got back there and Dana was like,
Dana White doesn't care because it puts money in his pocket.
Well, but if the guy dies, if somebody poisons him, he won't be fighting anymore. He'll lose money.
His last fight, the Nelk boys were I think it was in Australia or New Zealand or whatever. And yeah, he did it. He did it with the Nelk boys. Like, literally did one in the octagon with the Nelk boys, and then was doing it afterwards. So yeah, it's not the first
I saw when he first won, the shoe that he originally used that he brought, that was his shoe. He poured one of the Nelk boys beers that they just made recently into that, and that's what he drank at first. But nonetheless, it was a wild night with UFC 264. Definitely didn't disappoint, but at the same time kind of disappointed at the end. It was more of like it started high and just went down, and it went low from there. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun to get to watch that. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got some more awesome Man Hour stuff with myself at manhour_TWW. That is the Wyatt Williams at manhour_Torry and the Hoffy himself. And we will see you back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Man Hour. We have everybody's favorite game here. Hoffy, this is the first time you're ever playing Guess Who. Are you excited?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so basically the rules are I'm going to give them an athlete I'm not going to give them an athlete, excuse me. I've got an athlete in my head. They are going to ask yes or no questions back and forth until one of them gets it right. It's best 3 out of 5. Boys, ready to do this? Oh, and to add to it, Hoffy, for you, it is only baseball, basketball, and football. There are no retired players this time. It is all current players in either Major League Baseball, National Football League, or the National Basketball Association. Gentlemen, we've got the rules set up. Is everybody ready to go?
Yep.
All right, sounds good to me. Hoffy, you are our guest, sir, so you get to pick. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, Torry, your first question, sir.
Do they play baseball?
Correct. Yes.
American League?
Give me 1 second.
Rookie.
Right?
I lost my list for players here.
He doesn't know baseball though. That's why.
No, I lost my. I swear, I lost my list for players. I had it in my notes.
Jr.
And now it's
retired
gone.
about 15 years ago, bud.
Let me hold on. I'm bear with me for just one moment. I'm finding my list of players here that I wrote down.
What were you doing for those 2 minutes when we were on break there, Wyatt?
Okay.
Yeah, it only takes about 10 seconds for you, doesn't it?
Jesus is watching.
Do you want to build a snowman?
I genuinely don't know where my list went. Okay. Restart. We're going on the fly, gentlemen. Let's
You don't
reset.
know who you picked? Like you don't have it in your head.
Torry, I had to set up a 2-hour show breakdown. I found out yesterday that Buck and Combs were not going to be here. Okay, this all got thrown in my lap. All right,
I was in the same group message, and I said I'll
Torry,
be home around 2:00. I can throw it together then.
Torry, we are live, raw, and uncut.
Uncut.
It's
Just
great.
like Wyatt when he was born.
We're gonna get reset. Go ahead with the first question, Torry.
Do they play baseball?
No.
Western Conference?
No.
Eastern Conference?
No.
American Football League? Or AFC, I should say.
No.
Do they play in the NFC North?
No. A lot of no's.
NFC East?
Yes. There it is.
Wait, you pick on Buck about always taking somebody from the NFC East, and then you're thinking of somebody from the NFC East.
Live, raw, and uncut, baby. You know how this is.
Taylor Henneke because it'd be like the 12th time.
No, it's not. I'm not that guy.
Eagles?
No.
Do they play for the Giants?
No.
Is it a non-named football team?
No, it is not.
Do they play defense?
Yes.
You better get it on this guess there, Hoffy, because otherwise I'm going to guess at this next one. I'm already in Wyatt's head.
You're not going to guess it. I chose a hard one on this one.
Cornerback?
No.
Is it Jalen Smith?
It is not. I told you.
Ooh.
I told you. I went good on this one. I thought deep.
D-line?
No.
Do they play safety?
No, they do not. That leaves like 2 or 3 people. Kind of a 50-50 shot here.
I can't think of his name. Do I have to have his name, or can I say it's their freaking rookie draft pick from this year out of Notre Dame?
It is not the rookie draft pick. It is not. Damn. Micah Parsons. It is not.
So then it's Leighton
Or
Vander
Penn
Esch?
State, excuse me.
It's Leighton Vander Esch. There you go. So Torry starts off the night with the.
I knew
point.
as soon as I said defense, I knew it was Jalen Smith or Vander Esch.
All
Which
right.
is why I said safety, because I wanted to make Hoffy guess.
So with our second one here, Torry or Hoffy, excuse me. Do you want to start off?
Sure. Basketball.
No.
Football.
Yes.
AFC East.
No.
Is it Baker Mayfield?
No.
Let's see.
Or no, I take that back. I apologize, Hoffy. Yes, it is AFC East. I don't know why I just had a brain fart. I thought it was AFC. No, sorry. Yes, you are correct. It is AFC East. Torry, take your guess again. Guys, I am just losing my mind tonight. I have no clue what's going on. For some weird reason, I thought this guy's team was in the AFC North, but I had a major brain fart. Then I hit me. I'm like, hold on. No, they're in the East. Yes, Hoffy, you were correct. Torry, re-guess, sir. Go ahead with
Is
your
it
question.
Mac Jones?
It is not Mac Jones. Telling you, man, you're not up here. You're not. I've got you blocked off.
The Bills.
No.
The Finns.
Yes.
You thought they were in the North?
How the?
For a brief second, I'm sorry.
You can't get much further south than Miami.
I thought of hold on now. I thought of the Patriots and I was like, North, yes, no. Brain fart, guys. Okay, we all have them. Bear with me on this one.
Yeah, you've had about 500 of them.
Right.
Is it Jalen Waddle?
It is Jalen Waddle. There we go. All right, so that ties us up at 1-1. Okay, so next one, Hoffy. You're going first on this one. Go ahead, sir.
Baseball.
Yes.
National League.
Yes.
Shit. NL West.
No.
NL East.
Yes.
Shit. I'm gonna go with Pete Alonso.
No.
Do they play for the Marlins?
No.
Marcus Stroman.
No.
Bryce Harper.
No.
Is he on the Mets?
No, he is not.
Oh.
Wait, is it my turn?
Yep.
It is.
Freddie Freeman.
Ding, ding, ding. There
I
we
knew
go.
it.
Torry jumps out to the 2-1 lead. Hoffy, the fire's on you now, man. You've gotta bounce back on this one. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Torry, you're getting us kicked off on this one. Your first question, sir.
Do they like pizza?
I don't personally know this person, but everyone likes pizza, so I would assume yes. Actually, no, they're allergic to pizza. No, I'm just kidding.
Basketball?
Yes.
Are they currently in the finals?
No.
LeBron James?
No.
Kevin Durant.
No.
Were they in the playoffs at all this year?
No.
Is it Zion Williamson?
Well, yes and no at the same time. Like, their team was, but they were hurt.
Whose turn?
Torry.
I said was it Zion Williamson? Because
No,
he
it
said
is
they
not.
weren't in the playoffs.
We'll go
Jaylen
ahead and guess
Brown.
again then. No.
Were they in the play-in games?
Yes.
Oh, wait,
This
it's
is a
my turn.
tricky one.
Utah Jazz?
No.
Is it Klay Thompson?
It is not.
No, because he said they were in the play-in games, Hoffy.
Oh, true. So, the Eastern Conference?
No.
They were hurt. Western Conference. Is it Jamal Murray?
No.
They didn't play the playing games.
Yep.
Ah!
This is a tricky one. This is good. I'm telling you, I think I'm going to stump you guys on this one.
Is he a forward?
No, he is not.
That was pretty forward, Hoffy. Get it? Get it? So he played in the playing games. He was hurt.
And now, this moment. Or no, I can't say that. That'll give it away.
Now he's hurt?
Huh? Well, I mean, it's the off season, so I guess not. I don't know how you consider it. I don't.
Was it me? Or
John
was it Torry
Morant?
now?
No.
Anthony Davis.
Nope. That got you guys stumped?
No. No. Deontay Murray?
Nope.
Wiggins. Jermaine Wiggins?
Nope.
I don't know if he was hurt or not. I'm just winging it at this point.
Winging it.
Right.
This is a good. I'm telling you, I didn't even think about this earlier. Whenever I thought of this, but it's a tricky one because it's like I can't say why. I'll say it in a minute, but it'll give it away if I say it now. No, it is not Kelly Oubre. Nikki loves Kelly Oubre. Nikki would leave me for Kelly Oubre right now.
I told you guys that he was sliding into my niece's DMs on Snapchat, and I was like, no, don't be doing that.
What?
That's naughty. Yeah, because he's from Wichita, Kansas. And that's where my niece lives.
Oh, jeez.
So, did they make it into the playoffs, or did they lose in the? They make it in the playoffs.
They made it in. They made it in.
So they made it into the playoffs. They're not a forward.
Nope, I got you boys stumped on this. I'm telling you.
Dylan Brooks?
No, it's a mainstream player. It's a big
Donovan
player.
Mitchell.
Nope.
No, because they were in the play-in games. He said.
And they made it in. So that's only, huh?
Oh no, they made it
Memphis
in.
Memphis was the 8th seed.
Yep.
Oh wait, so yeah, never mind. That would be the wrong call then, because he's in Utah. So my fault. Well, that was a wasted guess.
Yep. Valanciunas or Valanciunas?
Valanciunas? Nope, not Jonas.
Was it Memphis?
Nope.
Was it Golden State?
No.
So it was the Lakers.
Nope.
Yep. That
Did you
covers
say it was
all
the West Conference.
and you said they were a playing team.
Yep.
And that they made the playoffs. So that's
Yep.
Right.
You guys stumped?
well, yeah. She's
You
like
gotta
told
be.
us not the 7th or 8th team. Isn't those the two teams that made it in?
I know.
What?
You all let me know when you're stumped. I'll tell you.
Is it Portland?
Nope.
No, because Portland didn't play in a play-in
Yeah.
game.
So how the hell was it a playing team and they made the playoffs and yet we've already guessed the teams and it's not them?
And you said it's a mainstream player.
Yep.
And it's West Coast or West Conference.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm confused.
You stumped?
Grayson Allen.
Nope, not Grayson Allen.
I don't know how it's possible if it's not the 7th or 8th place team and those are the two teams that made it in.
But yeah, because the playoff, but the Lakers got bombed.
All right, you want me to tell you?
So it's got to be it's the Lakers, or it's not. It's
The Lakers beat Golden State, and then Golden State lost to Memphis. So it needs to either be Memphis or LA, which we asked both of those teams, and you said no.
It is not.
Then it's not possible they were in a play-in game and made the playoffs then.
It is. I'm telling you. I got you guys stumped. Just let me know. I'll tell you. You ready, Torry? You ready for me to tell you?
No, I do not.
You are bound and determined to figure this out.
Yeah.
You're not going to. I promise.
Did we say Anthony Davis already? No, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, you said Anthony Davis.
It's not the Lakers.
It's not the Lakers. They do not play for the Lakers. They do not play for the Grizzlies.
Kawhi Leonard.
Nope.
Then they weren't in the play-in. Then they didn't make the playoffs.
They did.
Paul George.
Nope.
Why? I think you got this all jacked up.
I don't. I promise.
I don't know how he doesn't. If it's not the 7th or 8th place team, but it's the 7th or 8th place team.
But they played in the play-in games, right?
Yep. They played in the play-in games.
So because the Lakers lost to the Suns in the first round, and the Grizzlies lost to the.
No, Grizzlies beat Golden State.
Grizzlies beat Golden State. Yep.
So it needs to either be Grizzly or LA. Those are the only two teams that made it into the playoffs through the play-in.
No.
Because the Grizzlies lost to the Jazz.
Just let me know. I'll tell you.
So it's got to be the Grizzlies.
Nope. All right, y'all ready? I got to tell you now.
Yeah.
All right. It's Kemba Walker.
That's the East Conference.
That's the Eastern Conference.
He plays for Oklahoma City now.
Oh, come on. He was on the Celtics, though, and that's Bush.
He plays for Oklahoma City now.
Didn't I even say him, though?
League.
I thought I said him and Jaylen Brown, both of them, I thought.
You said Jaylen Brown. That was it.
No, you said Jaylen Brown. But then we said Western Conference.
I had it, yes.
Yes, he plays in the Western Conference right now. But he played in the play-in tournament.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He was hurt.
No, he did not.
He was hurt with Boston, so he didn't play with them.
Boston was in the playoffs. Boston. Oh, I take it back. Boston did play the play against Davis.
They did. See, I told you.
I'm still calling shenanigans on that
stumped you,
one.
boys. I did it.
No,
That's shenanigans.
That's you.
Because he's about to be in Chicago, which means he'll technically be in the East Coast.
But hey, the reason why I bring up Kemba Walker, we're going to talk a little bit about him here in a little bit. Okay. All right.
I'm going
Coffee
to
with
Junior Jejunum.
All right, here's the deal. We spent a lot of time on Kemba Walker. So I've got one more player here. Hoffy, if you get it right, you win. Torry, if you get it right, you win. It's next point wins. I know you're up by one, Torry, but Hoffy's our guest here, so I automatically give him.
I would have had that one if you didn't cheat us.
Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans on that one. I'm finally
it's true.
Official.
He played in the play-in
tournament. I was totally going for Kemba Walker until you said it was the West Coast.
It did. He played in the play-in tournament, and he plays in the Western Conference now. I knew I had.
He doesn't play in the Western Conference. He's probably not even going to suit up for him. He hasn't suited up yet. You can't call that Western Conference.
He's never played a game.
He is on their roster.
He won't play
right now.
a game for them either.
He is technically at this moment.
He'll get flipped
a
for
Oklahoma
like 7
City
more
Thunder
first-round picks.
It doesn't matter if he
him and
takes
his bum knees.
Right. It doesn't matter if he takes the court or not. He currently plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I got it. All right. So our final player, winner takes all the marbles in on this one. Huffy, you get the first guess, sir. And this is not anything crazy. This is just a player. They're still on their team.
Aaron Rodgers.
No. He's not on his team.
Do they play
He's golfing now. Yes, they do.
Repeat that?
Yes, they do play basketball.
They're a basketball player.
Are they currently on an Eastern Conference team?
Yes, they are.
He's got to double check that, though, Torry.
Right?
Wait a minute.
Are they in the NBA Finals?
No, they are not.
Were they in the playoffs?
Yes, they were.
Is it Kevin Durant?
No, it is not.
Trae Young.
No.
Did they play for the Hawks?
No, they did not.
Uncle Drew?
It is not Uncle Drew.
Did they play for the Heat?
Yes.
Tyler Hero?
No.
Bam.
Nope.
Butler?
Nope.
Trying to think who their other starters are.
Oh, I know it.
I named about the only 3 players I know on the team.
Who's the guy that scored like 2 points all year and then dropped a bunch on USA last night? There you go. It's him.
Well, so actually that team had 2 players from the Heat. Team Nigeria had 2 players from the Heat on that team. I don't even know I don't even remember what that guy's name is. He's not even listed on the roster.
Oh, the guy that plays for Nigeria?
Yeah.
Precious Achuchimara or whatever.
Well, he's one of them. There's 2 of them. There's another guy that plays on the Heat for him too.
It's not them, no.
Victor Oladipo?
Nope.
Goran Dragic.
Nope.
Andre
Goran.
Iguodala?
Nope.
Duncan Robinson.
It's the other white splash bro, Duncan Robinson, the Michigan man himself. So Torry ends up winning it all on the night. This is how we end. Guess who? Me losing my list, then stumping
Wyatt
the
Then
boys.
losing
and
your
then
mind
again.
by feeding to some guy that
Torry ends up with the win. We are going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we've got some more awesome man hour action for you.
manhourradio.com.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? We are back from break. It is me and Hoffy. Torry had to step out for just a second. He'll be right back. But as we're going to dive deep into some NBA headlines, and the guy who we were just talking about, Kemba Walker, okay, and Hoffy brought it up just a second ago, possibly headed to Chicago. That is the rumors now. Of course, we know how much that the Thunder love bringing in guards who have big past, but haven't really had the best last 2 or 3 seasons, and they build them up and then ship them out for 27 more draft picks, because we all know that the Thunder's next big star is currently a 6th grader, so that's always a good thing. But anyways, the rumor mill right now is spitting out that Kemba Walker possibly headed to Chicago for Kobe White. That would be an interesting just 1-for-1 trade there. So what I wanted to present to you guys is who wins that trade? Kemba Walker for Kobe White. Thunder get Kobe. Bulls get Kemba. Hoffy, you first, sir. Who wins that trade?
Well, I mean, who's taking on that contract of Kemba Walker? That's the one thing that's going to be the baggage with him. I mean, we talk about his. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We talk about his knees being bad, but at the same time, he averaged 19 points, like 7 assists last year with the Celtics, with those bad knees, and with Jaylen Brown and Tatum. So I do think that a ball distributor with those two All-Stars on the Bulls would benefit them. I think Kemba Walker could rejuvenate a little bit, but how many games can he truly play with with those knees? I mean, what you're going to get out of him is going to be solid, but how many games are you going to get out of him is
right
where the question lies.
Torry?
If you ask me, I would think that the Thunder win that trade just because you've gotten younger. You've got an up-and-coming player in Kobe White. And they're getting, depending on the things of the trade, we all know that the Thunder love to stockpile draft picks. So, if they get a draft pick plus a young player for him, the Thunder win that trade all day long.
Can you imagine Kobe White teaming up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Yeah.
Crazy. I know you're a big fan of Shai.
I am. I love the guy to death. He's one of those guys that it seems like he's kind of gotten the bum rap because he's been traded like a couple of times. It's like, this kid's actually good. Like, he's a really good player. So,
right.
He's a little bit better version of a Dennis Schroeder, except not quite the ball distributor that Dennis Schroeder is. He's more of a scorer. So,
right.
Dennis
Schroeder with a little bit of a scoring edge instead of the playmaking side of it.
Right. And better hair. I hate Schroeder's hair. So, I think the Thunder would win that trade if it goes through. Just because, like I said, anytime you have a chance to get younger, get that money off your books, everything else. I'm sure part of it is if they attach like a draft pick, there's going to be some form of they have to take on some part of that salary too as well. So,
boys. Did you guys see what happened the last time that the Thunder traded away a guard? Okay, I'm watching him play right now in the NBA Finals. His name is Chris Paul. All right, the Heat for sure come through and win this trade. Can you imagine Kemba Walker, Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen out there playing on the floor together? If they could bring in one more superstar possible.
How do the Heat win that trade?
Yeah, I was going to say, how did the Heat even get involved
in
this
trade?
Or the
Bulls. Oh, my God. The Bulls. The Bulls would absolutely win that trade. They get a nice guard to go along with a already young core group. Lauri Markkanen's only been in the league 3 years, as well as Zach LaVine's been in for 6 or 7. So he's still younger. He's still at the beginning of his prime. They've got to figure out something to do with Zach before he ends up retiring. But nonetheless, I think they end up winning that trade because of the fact that they come away with a good guard who's going to fill the needs that they have. Kind of like with the Suns, the Suns were always seemingly kind of one player away, and Chris Paul was that guy. Kemba could be that guy. I don't think that the Bulls are necessarily one player away, but Kemba could be that guy for the Bulls. So moving on now, the New York Post released a mock draft for the NBA coming up, and it got me thinking, besides Cade Cunningham, is there really any stars, or let me rephrase that. Who is the biggest potential star, do you think, in this draft not named Cade Cunningham? Because we all know Cade is the guy for this draft. He's a 6'8" point guard that is an awesome defender. He's a bucket. He shoots the lights out. An incredible playmaker as well. His perimeter defense is something of Kawhi sense. He's amazing at that. So other than Cade Cunningham, who has the best shot to be an NBA All-Star of this rookie group?
I'm going to stick with someone that was somewhat in the league last year in Jalen Green. Skipping college and going to the G League and trying that out. Now, I don't think, he's not playing against superstars like he could have played in college, such as the guy that we're speaking of and such, but he's playing against big NBA bodies. And, he averaged about 18 points a game, 37 from 3-point range. So I think in a year or two, he could definitely be a 20-plus a game scorer. 6'5", so, shooting guard or point guard, but I think he could be much like a Trae Young or someone like that.
And then Torry?
So I don't want to go with the same player because I would have said Jalen Green too, just because for the exact same reasons. The kid's already played against NBA bodies, and that's going to go a long way when you are playing against people that can play in the NBA every single night versus a lot of guys that you play against in college that will never see the NBA. So for me, I'm kind of torn. I really like Evan Mobley's game. I think he's going to be a big defensive anchor, but for him, he's probably going to end up in Houston, and it depends how Houston rebuilds. And they've already got a logjam at that center position. They've already got Christian Wood that they did a sign and trade for last year. That is a 20-plus point a game scorer as well. So unless they plan on moving Christian Wood over to the power forward and putting Mobley in at the center, because I think Mobley is a better defender than Christian Wood is.
He's got a better shot too. He can, he's got a mid-range game,
right,
too much like Embiid.
And so I like him. And then the other one is Davion Mitchell is the other one that I really like, that I think has a potential to be an all-star in this draft as well. This doesn't have the LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade type of players in it, but this is a deep draft.
Or even a few years ago with Zion, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, that group was incredible.
One player I would say to watch out for is if the Oklahoma City Thunder draft Jonathan Kuminga, another G League player. Because the Thunder can develop talent, and I think he's another good player if he falls into the right team, right work, position, etc.
You know who you guys are forgetting? You guys are forgetting one big player who was a star in college.
Suggs?
Jalen Suggs. You got it, Torry. The guy has got leadership. He's a great playmaker. He literally shoots the lights out of the gym. I mean, he hit a half-court shot to send his team to the NCAA championship. Of course, it didn't end how they wanted it to, but he was essentially the anchor for that team. He was the guy for Gonzaga's almost perfect team, and they ended with one loss. I mean, Jalen Suggs is, exactly, yeah, he's a lot like JJ Redick.
Reminds me of JJ Redick. So I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be a great fifth or sixth man to come off the bench and get you 15 to 20 per se. So yeah, I could see him, potentially being a Ray Allen like player, but I think his ceiling is going to be more of a JJ Redick, a great bench, great role player.
I see. It's like you said, I don't see the star power in this draft outside of Cade Cunningham, but you see guys that are going to be all-stars, and you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to be important pieces to the team. You're going to see a lot of CJ McCollum types that are kind of the Robin to the Batman of Dame. Those are the types of players you're going to get out of this draft, in my opinion, where it's like I said, he may not be your number one option, but he's probably going to be your number 2 or 3. And down the line, they're going to be one of those guys that, 10 years in the league, and they're still going to be like that. They're going to be a 6-man. They're going to be like Lou Williams and coming off the bench and still being super productive.
Absolutely. So moving on now to our next headline, we're going to stick with the NBA, of course. And Torry, man, your Bucks go down 2-0 to the Suns, lose 2 straight in Phoenix. Now, of course, right now it is 67-53 with 8:50 left in the game. Milwaukee is winning, so it does look good for them right now, barring any incredible comeback. Currently looking to make it 2-1. We talked a little bit about this earlier, Torry. In my opinion, I think that the Bucks have to win 4 games in a row here to take home the title. If they have any shot at it, they're going to have to win the next 4 games. They're going to have to win 2 at home, 1 on the road in Phoenix, and then they're going to have to win Game 6 at home. But like you said, they've played incredibly at home all playoffs, playing in Milwaukee, of course. I don't see them being able to get the win on the road in Phoenix. So what do you think? Do you think they have to win the next 4 to win it all, or do you think they could possibly take it to 7 and win it in Phoenix?
They possibly could take it in 7. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it go to a Game 7, obviously. I would like to see the Bucks win the next 4 and just rip off the next 4 and win that title at home, which could very well happen.
Absolutely.
They had to do it against the Nets. They had to do it against Atlanta, that they had to steal one on the road, and both times, they did it. They did it in a game 6. So, that's what they have to do, and I would love to see it happen. I think it could happen just because they have been so dominant at home in these playoffs. And I said I think they only have the one home loss. I think it was against the Nets in the second round.
I believe so.
And
yes.
Other than that, they've not lost a home game. So that's am I upset they were down 0-2? 100%. Because like that first game, I yelled at the TV a lot. I said it's the refs. Like, it was funny because they'd show replays and they're like, oh my God, he almost took that ball away from him. They showed the replay and Drew Holiday's arms getting like wrenched over here and there's like no foul call. It's like, seriously? Like, he almost stole the ball because he hacked the crap out of him. But then in game 2, it was a lot of that was on Middleton and on Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday in the first game went 4 for 14 and he went 5 for 15 in game 2. Like, he doesn't have his stroke going right now. And even in this game so far, like 2 minutes ago, right before the game went to break, he went in for a layup and missed a freaking layup. He's lucky Giannis was there to follow it up. Like, but that's the way he's been playing all this series. Like, he can't make anything within like 5 feet either. So the Bucks are going to go as Middleton and Drew Holiday go because guess what? Giannis is a superstar, but he still needs help around him. And now this game, Middleton's kind of found his stroke. He's playing a ton better, but Drew Holiday is still nowhere to be found right now. He's turning the ball over at an alarming rate. He's not playing like he did during the regular season. So
shooting less than 15% from 3-point range.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. And that's the thing. But the sad part is he is sitting and he still guns and like it's like looking at Giannis behind the 3-point line and I'm like, don't do it. Son of a. And
he canned a big 3-pointer though in game 2. Did you see that?
Yeah, but when
of course they still didn't come away with the win. That's that's not what you want.
Right.
Point range.
And it's like I said,
really
the game two,
the biggest killer for go ahead, Torry.
The Suns hit 56% of their threes. You're not going to hit 56% of your 3-pointers every game.
Right.
Like, they were unconscious. It was ridiculous. And they hit key ones.
They had an answer to everything. They had an answer to everything the Bucks did.
100%.
That was the main problem that I saw. Really, was that every time that the Bucks would manage to come away with some kind of a turnover, the Suns were always getting the ball right back, getting a turnover of their own, or stopping them defensively. I mean, their transition defense was incredible. They canned up the Bucks in every way that they could, and that's how they're going to end up if they do come away with this win. That's how they're going to end up doing it. All they've got to do is win 4 at home, and if you can win 4 at home, just win every home game, and you've got the NBA title. So I think that it's going to make it difficult
too.
Absolutely, they did a great job of spreading the ball around.
Moving the ball around. The Bucks got a steal, and yet I think it was Crowder rips it right back from him and throws it to Ayton for the slam +1. So I mean,
how about Ayton though? You bring up a good point with Ayton though. I just want to know where this came from because I mean Ayton, he did great things at Arizona. Of course, that's how he got drafted so highly. Yeah, I do too. But he was a good solid NBA player, but then he just like all of a sudden I'm getting like Shaq vibes about this guy. Like
I think Chris
he just
Paul,
takes over. He's such a dominant player,
right?
But he's like what? He's like 7'1" and 250 pounds. He's a big guy.
But like Hoffy just said, that's it's the Chris Paul, and that's what you see. Like when you talk about like the hustle on defense, that is the Chris Paul effect. All of this is an effect of the Chris Paul trade.
Oh, the point guard, absolutely.
Chris Paul has challenged DeAndre Ayton where he needed to be challenged. Absolutely. And he is the type of player that DeAndre Ayton is going to listen to. The kid's finally playing like the number 1 pick that he was. Like a lot of people were putting that bust label on him already. And
absolutely.
This playoffs has been his coming out party. Like he is showing how dominant he can be defensively. He's showing how good he can be offensively. So what they say, the playoff record is Abdul-Jabbar when he was with the Bucks for 18 double-doubles in the playoffs, and he's at 13 right now.
It's crazy. He's just come alive. Do you guys think that Chris Paul stays in Phoenix at the end of this year, or do you think he goes elsewhere?
I think so, because they still have cap room to re-sign
Right.
him. He's gonna, which is crazy that he's gonna opt out of his player option for $40 million because he thinks he can make more as a 36-year-old free agent. And the thing is a lot of the people that are looking at the market are going to say, yeah, he'll get at least that, if not more. He's 36. He will be 37 years old.
Wait, so you do think he'll leave Phoenix?
No, I think he'll stay, but I think
okay.
Phoenix is going to have to pony up some big bucks for him.
He'll decline his player option and re-sign.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the biggest worry that I have really is, if Ayton balls out, or not if, he's been balling out this year in the playoffs. If this continues into the regular season next year and he becomes this, star center and, it's a big thing for him. He becomes, the next Joel Embiid, right? And all that happens. And Devin Booker has already become a star force to be reckoned with. The biggest problem is, how are they going to pay for this? That's the biggest problem that I see is, how are the Suns going to pay for a big three like that? Because Devin Booker is worth a max deal. If Ayton continues playing like he has, he's worth a max deal.
You can
Chris
pay
Paul
in-house
is
talent,
the max
though.
deal because he do what?
You can pay in-house talent, though. The cap is a little bit different when they're homegrown compared to signing a free agent. So even though they can do, I think 3 supermax, but then they're just going to have to go with veteran minimums for the rest. So they in essence could re-sign all 3 of those guys to supermax, and then just pony out the veteran minimums.
Right, and that's where I don't know exactly how the bird rights things work.
Yeah,
that's where the bird rights come into
exactly.
play for offering the max contracts.
NBA contracts are so odd with that. You got the bird. There's like 4 different kinds of contracts you can do. There's there's percentages on all of them. That
I wish it was just a hard
weird.
salary cap or nothing. Like just
right.
Absolutely no, and that's what I just hope they're able to muster together to keep this team, because the Suns have, in my lifetime, never looked this good. They've always kind of been a joke. They haven't been anything, and now Devin Booker's finally getting to that spot where he's hitting the tip of his prime. CP3 is just on a different level right now. The shots that he's hitting. Yes, CP3 is known for his playmaking. He's always going to be the point guard, right? Mm-hmm. But when you get Chris Paul being the point guard on top of the fact that he's hitting every jumper he's putting up, pretty much, it's going to be hard to stop him.
Close to 10. If he's averaging a double with 20+ points a game, you're in a lot of trouble, especially when you got Booker.
Right,
they've got.
You have Booker, who puts up 40 points a night in the playoffs so far. Then you've got Chris Paul, who's averaging a double, and then you've got, of course, Ayton, who's doing the exact same thing. It's going to be hard to stop this group. I'm really excited with everything they're doing, but we are going to take our final break of the night. 2 minutes. We will be right back. We've got Shop Talk. Keep all your questions here. Ask them. We will answer all of your sports related questions. We will see you back in 2 minutes.
Hey there, Mr. White T-shirt wearer dude.
Mr. White shirt wearer dude.
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
Same shirt every day.
Do you do the same thing every day?
The same thing every day.
Don't you worry, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Now with Man Hour merch, you can spice up your style each and every day. From hats to beanies to shirts, we got you covered, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Shop at manhourradio.com. T-shirts start as little as $15. Shop today.
Why, thank you, manhourradio.com, for this awesome merch. Hats, t-shirts, $15. You can't go wrong.
Pretty obvious in that one. Dak's coming back off. You got Tom Brady, and did I mention 22 starters coming back?
When I say Lamar Jackson is trash, I'm not saying he is the worst quarterback in the league, but he is definitely not the best quarterback in the league. When you say somebody is trash, it is It is based off the perception of the general public.
And welcome back to Man Hour. It is the Wyatt Williams as well as the Wisconsinite Torry himself, Hoffy, our special guest for the night tonight. We are jumping in to Shop Talk, as I will bring up our Shop Talk logo here for you. Boom, there it is. Today, Junior, exactly. But Shop Talk,
you are not Buck.
Ask any sports-related question you've got. We will answer them here live on air for you. And Torry, I'm watching this game in the background, man. We were just on break. I moved my computer to the side to check the score. What was once like a 20-point game is now a 7-point game. And
it was a 15-point game.
Oh,
and
15-point game.
Now it's a 9-point game.
Oh, it's 9 now. Did Portis just hit a shot? Yeah, he did.
Drew Holiday has actually hit back-to-back threes.
Wow, that's something he hasn't done for what?
Ever in this
5
playoffs,
games?
it seems like. So I don't know if you guys saw the video of it or not. Did you see Bakhtiari chugging beer? Well, like, because he always chugs a beer at the game, at the Bucks home game. So they had him doing it, and he did like 2 beers and chugged it. His dad stepped up, and his dad started chugging beers. And that was great. And he's like,
the whole Bakhtiari family is just wild. I mean, they're like a off-brand version. They're like, here we go. They're like the Walmart version of the Gronkowskis.
The Walmart version.
They are. Think about it. They are the
Costco.
Right. Costco, where the cost is low, baby.
One of the guys that I also follow that does a lot of Packers stuff. So the NFC Championship game, he actually hosted the Gronkowski family at his house before they went to the game. And he said it was wild. He's like, it was so much fun.
Repeat what you said. Who said that?
There's a guy I follow. I don't want to throw his name out there just because he's actually sponsored, and I don't know if I can say his name or not. So
okay.
So I don't want to throw him out there like that without his permission or anything like that. So
well, we've got our first question of the night. Who's your top 10 NFL quarterbacks going into 2021? We don't have time for all of us to do top 10.
Lamar Jackson.
We'll all do top 5.
Lamar
How about
Jackson
that, Torry?
Is definitely number 1.
Trevor Bauer is number 1 for me. Lamar Jackson's a very close second. So I've now triggered Buck and Combs.
Time out! Breaking news: Trevor Bauer was just put on 7 days administrative leave from football.
Zach Wilson's 3 for me. Torry's triggered now. Right. No, top 5 NFL quarterbacks right now in the league. I think after what the Buccaneers did last year, seeing Tom Brady, I want to put Tom at 1. I can't though. I'm going to take Patty Mahomes at 1. Tom Brady, a very close second right now if he continues the form he was at. Aaron Rodgers, very close third. I'm going to take Josh Allen at 4. And then 5. At 5, give me Baker Mayfield on a breakout year this year.
I was gonna say if you did not say
Baker Mayfield,
I was gonna call you out because you've been saying for the last 2 months Baker Mayfield's the top 5 quarterback this year.
This is the year. Baker Mayfield is going to be an MVP caliber talent player this year.
Say somebody else. Say somebody else because I was gonna hammer you into the ground with it. I'm like, if he doesn't say Baker, I'm coming after him.
Baker's my guy this year. He's an MVP candidate this year. I promise. You guys watch and see. Did you guys see him at the fight last night?
I didn't see him. I saw everybody else, though.
I wasn't fighting, so I don't know.
Oh. You guys didn't make it to Fight Club?
No.
Just kidding. Number 1 rule about Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. Anyways, Torry, your top 5 quarterbacks, sir, for going into this year.
Top 5 going into this year. I'm actually going to go Mahomes 1, Rodgers 2, because, I mean, he's the reigning MVP. The man threw 45 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. There's 47 touchdowns and 5-7.
Something
lost to the
ridiculous
GOAT
that
twice.
shouldn't be legal. Oh man,
Mahomes.
Hoffy, who is your team? I don't even know who your team is.
He's a Boston Patriots guy.
You're a Boston Patriots guy.
The Boston
Canadians.
Guy. Buccaneers.
Except you see that 1959 Patriots picture right
Oh,
next
I
to
see
him.
it right there. Here we go. But anyways, Hoffy, your top 5 is. We'll get into
I didn't even finish my
Hoffman-
top 5. You
Oh,
let me get
sorry.
my top 3 out.
Well, speed it up, Torry. We're waiting on you. Today, Junior.
I would go with Josh Allen at number 4. And as much as I hate the man and I do not like him at all, I'm going with Dak at 5.
What? Get out of here with that. Hoffy, speak some sense into this guy.
So number 1, I'm going to go with Patty Mahomes. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. This is where it gets tricky. I think if you put Tom Brady, and I love Tom Brady, but if you put him on the field with the same exact roster as Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Josh Allen, I think you can play around with those 3, but I'm going to go with, just because of his Super Bowls, I'll go with Tom Brady, Wilson, and then Allen. Just because Wilson's got the ring and et cetera. I think he's just a step above Allen, but I think Allen this year will take that leap above that.
All right, Hoffy. Well, I wanted to ask you what. So Buck, of course, comments crazy stuff all the time. This is his. What is your initial reaction to this list?
Get Goff off of that and replace.
Oh man, the newbie got Torry. Come on, Hoffy. Torry, send us out.
Man, our nation, rise up.